Hey, welcome back again to Auto Transport Intel. I'm Jay. I'm the car hauling dispatcher, and you are watching Auto Transport Intel on Tuesday nights live, and we're back, so that's pretty cool. I appreciate you guys coming back in and joining me. I'm over here looking at this is my chat screen over here. Good to be back, says Viper. Welcome back, man. Good to have you back. All right. I appreciate you guys coming back into the show. You know, it's Tuesday, so yeah, I'm excited to do another show, I guess. Why not, right? Just keep it going. It's like a neighborhood picnic every Tuesday night. So we're going to just keep doing that. So, Jose, welcome to the show. All right. Appreciate you coming in and saying hello. So do that. You know, if you guys want to say hello and join the live chat and participate, I mean, I really encourage it. I appreciate that. I really do. And it's a live show, so we don't know what's going to happen. The one and only, what's up, man? Welcome back to the show. All right. Hey, it's summer, right? It's finally here. We're like, you know, John Griffo keeps talking about how he wants the cold to come back. So, come on, John. Man, we just got here, didn't we? Roxy Auto Transport is back. Welcome back, Roxy Auto Transport. I appreciate you coming in and participating. I really do. I really appreciate that. So, so what's going on tonight? I posted this crazy graphic. Let's go ahead and throw it up here. You know, I got this thumbnail I'm showing. Okay, so Auto Transport Intel, cars or freight, apples or oranges or money. So, you know, which one is it? What are we gonna do? All right, so this is the first time I've talked about. That's pretty weird. This is the first time I've talked about freight at length on the show. So, you know, I'm gonna do that. Oh wow, I got all kinds of interesting stuff happening here in my. Okay. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about freight on this show. Obviously, this is Auto Transport Intel. We're talking about car hauling, but I do also want to talk about freight and try expand the scope. Because I mean, hotshotting. That's the thing. I've been getting asked, you know, what's going on with hauling freight and cars doing LTL as a hotshot. So since I don't exactly have that answer, I figured we'd investigate it. So our first guest tonight. Oh, run assistant now to ensure. Okay, good. So hopefully we don't crash during the show. This is live, so anything can happen. The first guest is a YouTuber, Trucking Answers. So he's going to be talking all about freight hauling and trucking. We're going to talk about some new guidelines, and then we're also going to talk about freight hauling numbers. And then we're going to move into Dispatch Garage, another YouTuber who he books freight and cars. Booking loads for Hotshots. In fact, some of his videos you can watch him booking freight, which is interesting. So we're going to talk more about freight load boards, and then we're going to move on into a conversation with Garth Logistics. He is a auto broker, but used to be a driver for a long time. So I think that's a nice mix, and I'm happy to have him on the show. And he's participated in the past, so it's going to be cool. And JD might call. You think? I don't know, man. I never know what JD's going to do. I seriously don't know what he's going to do. The Rogue Night Show, you're checking in. Awesome. Rogue Night Show, do you have a YouTube channel? Let me know, because I am always interested in looking at other YouTube channels. I mean, I'm very into improving my channel on YouTube. I think if you guys have seen, this channel's less than a year old, and I think it's come a long way. I hopefully have a long way to go. I'm sure some people would say, yeah, you definitely have a long way to go. Hey, Shaw, welcome back to the show. That's Parav Shaw. And good talking to you. I think that was last week. You know, I've got a note in the scroll that you're going to see. Actually, yeah, so I'm doing personal consultations now. If somebody's looking for a consultation about dispatching, especially dispatching, that is my forte. I'm more than happy to spend the time to do that, so just send me an email. DP Dispatch, welcome back to the show, man. I hope you're doing well in the Carolinas. Yeah, man, welcome back to the show. I appreciate you coming back in. And Dave Williams from Clarksville Trucking is back with us. Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Dave. Man, I think, yeah, see, it's June. It's hot. I'm hot in the studio. Is this a studio? Does it count? Does a guy sitting at a desk count as a studio? I don't know. I'm just sitting at my desk, man. So I'm right here. Brand new, working on the intro. All right, cool. Awesome. Well, send me an email, or you subscribe to my channel and, remind me. I'll subscribe to yours. I'm always interested in seeing what other truckers are doing on their YouTube channels. What do you do? That's the question. That's the content question. What do you do? What kind of content do you make? Do you talk about trucks? Do you talk about money? Do you talk about load boards, brokers, shippers, customers, time frames, unrealistic expectations? Or do you just gossip about other truckers? He said, she said, sewing circle. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go. So I've chosen to try to go the educational route. I don't know it all. So I'm having guests on and interviews to help fill out that picture of, man, it's a big industry. And in fact, I was in an electric car vehicle show this past weekend, and that was really interesting. So hit me up on Facebook. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, okay, great talk with you as well. Yeah, man, it was great talking to you, Parav. Full-time firefighter, want to be a hotshot part-time. Well, then this show's for you, William. You're going to learn, I think you're going to learn quite a bit here tonight. In fact, every night I learn something, so I do look forward to this. I look forward to, for me, it's a yin-yang. I'm making content, and I'm learning stuff, so, join the party. Ernest Martin is back. Welcome back to the show, Ernest. You are always welcome here. I appreciate you coming back, and, man, everyone's welcome here. Come on, let's get real about it. Silver Mint is ready to get schooled. Cool. All right. Well, I hope that happens. I hope that we keep bringing the knowledge back week after week. This is going to be awesome because we're trying to learn a bit about freight, but for what I've seen, I think sometimes it's better than cars. Well, it's interesting. Trucking Answers has a lot of information about freight that I'm not even familiar with. This is going to be pretty cool. Hey, William, starting to work on freight dispatch. Maybe I can help you get some loads. Yeah, hey, do you know of any? Absolutely. William and DP, you guys should connect. That's great. I totally agree with that. Thanks for showing us the electric car show. Cool. You like that? Yeah, I mean, it was really interesting. I felt like I was seeing part of the future. I mean, we feel like that all the time with stuff. But I don't know, there was something kind of cool about that electric car show. So I definitely would like to do more of those. So hats off to Carl Bloss for inviting me to the electric vehicle group. All right, let's do some Facebook news. And yeah, this is a long show, so, sit back, kick back, and let's go ahead and get it right into every trucker's dream. All right, this is the stuff, you've seen this stuff on Facebook. I thought that was pretty cool. Makes me hungry, makes me want a burger. I want a steak. I'll take, I like medium rare, please. And a potato would be great. Okay, I'll see you at the Manhunt. Every dispatcher's dream. Yeah, man. Did you guys see this on Facebook? All of this is from Facebook. Man, Facebook's crazy. So if you missed it, oh, this one, I like this. Okay, what the DOT thinks I'm doing, what my kids think I'm doing, what society thinks I'm doing, what my wife thinks I'm doing, what I think I'm doing, and what I'm really doing. That's hilarious. By the way, speaking of that, did you guys see this? Oh, they're not live anymore. They were live. I pulled it up on Facebook. Yeah, I missed it. Well, I saw some of it. There was a dump truck that got stuck under an overpass in Orlando. So anyways, that's reality. That's what you're really doing, is you're sitting behind a dump truck stuck under an overpass in Orlando. This is really good. Really smart. True. They're all true. So if anybody sees anything like this, I like this a lot. Send me an email, autotransportintel@gmail.com. It's great. Sorry, but you've exceeded your allowable freedom by 3 inches. That'll be a $3,000 fine, and I'm going to have to shoot your dog. It's I feel sorry for the guy that's in this, you know, shot, and it was a regular shot. But really, what are you doing? Because that's pretty much what we're all thinking. I mean, really, is that necessary? This other guy's like, it's like straight out of that spoof show. Yeah, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Amen. Hey, who's got a crazy road check blitz story? Anybody? I'm sure there's a crazy one out there. I actually don't know of. I love. Yeah. All right, cool. Oh, you love the theme of the show. Okay, yeah, I'm really interested in it too. Actually, I appreciate that. I hope I live up to. You know, I make these thumbnails, and then am I going to live up to it? I don't know. I hope so. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. Not as much pressure as the DOT, though, on Road Check Blitz Week. Can you hotshot do both freight and cars with one trailer? It's a good question. I actually don't know. I mean, I think that if you have a flatbed, theoretically you can do both, but I think that you do more LTL freight. It's not easy to mix because once you load, let's say you load the car, well, you're gonna have to put the freight anyways. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of considerations come in, I think, if you mix the two. Speaking of, this might be a visual if you mix freight with cars and you don't do it right. So there you go. I mean, what is even going on there? Is that real? It can't be real. I mean, it's real. I don't know, man. It's crazy. Okay, this is real and crazy. That's a real. I think that's a real. I can't believe. Is that actually what it's called? Is that the name of the infraction? Is there I guess is there a citation number? Jeez. I'm surprised they don't call it a lot more than that. That's pretty big fine. I hope it was good. $850? Dang. That's crazy. When you leave, you know, I clean this up, by the way. I clean this up for YouTube. I try to keep it clean. When you leave what you care at home, let's just say it that way. But that's quite a tie down. That's some good stuff. Okay. And there is that's your imaginary 3-car hauler. I guess you can make that work. Looks like it's going to be a lot of work to get that off. I guarantee they don't have a forklift on delivery. This is the guy that says, "Oh yeah, we got a forklift on delivery." No, there's no forklift on delivery. And then here's a I don't know. Bet you drive better. I guess that's you know, it's an opinion. Sometimes we all feel that way, right? You feel that way after you read that sign. Really? Is that necessary? That's a real sign. Billed by the plate or pay inside. $100 an hour. Where is that? It's probably at the is that at the scale at the Walmart. Okay. Can you get by with that? I don't know. Probably not during Blitz week. What else we got? Your bed was messed up and the trash can was full and the man said I was fatigued. That wasn't... No, that wasn't you on the video. Have you guys seen that video where the DOT, excuse me, the DOT officer says his bed wasn't made? That's a crazy video. That is a crazy video. It's real too. What else we have here? Okay, yeah, you know what? We're seeing a lot of good carrier supplies images, so I wanted to share one because I mean I think that's cool. I hope to get, oh man, I can't remember his name. Giron, can't remember his name. Down in Orlando. Yeah. In fact, you know what? I really want to talk to somebody at the Mannheim Orlando. So I'm hoping we can put that together. And also Daryl Smith, if you're watching up at carpooling up in Mannheim, PA, we got to do a show together too. We got to talk. Let's see. Cool. All right, cool. You guys are connecting. That's cool. Here's some more Walmart love. I mean, what's going on, man? And there's the trucks right there. Walmart. I mean, are those Walmart trucks? Is that a container sitting on the ground? What is that? Jeez, man. No idling. I want to talk to somebody from Idle Air, too. Okay. So, there's that. That would be one of the reasons why I think car hauling rates are higher than freight. Because we're seeing this a lot. And when this happens, I mean, I think that looks like it's at a rest area. I don't know, man. When that happens, man, that's just bad news, dude. That's such bad news. Getting to authority soon. Still haven't decided if I want to stick to freight hauling or do hotshot car hauling. Alright, this show's for you, Rogue Knight. Cool. Yeah, keep me posted on that. And love to have you on the show sometime. That'd be cool. Good evening, sir and brother and transport family. Alright, Philly Hotshot Trucking. Welcome to the show, man. I appreciate it. You know, so as you can see, like, this is pretty casual, but I have tried to plan a certain amount of, you know, I want to guide us down the path of information. This isn't just, you know, random gossip. I really do want to try and get to point B of some education, but, you know, if you've got something to say, if you've got something to add, that's awesome. And, you know, you can email me, autotransportintel@gmail.com. And, you know, if you're dying to join the show, man, put up your phone number. Why not? I don't know if we've done that before, but, you know, why not, man? Hashtag this is car hauling. In fact, that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I like that. Okay, not much explanation needed there. I think you guys can figure that out. Okay, oh, here's a good one. Which car should go first? 1, 2, or 3? And they didn't know either. That's pretty funny. That's a pretty good before and after. That's well done. That is well done. That is not so well done. So, how do you even... Where's the road even? Man. Somebody was way lost. Stinking GPS. Okay, there's a motor and there's an engine. You're welcome. I like that. I like that a lot. Motor, engine. Alright, what else we got? I know, we're almost through it. We got to call Trucking Answers here in a minute. Oh, this is pretty cool. I like this custom job. I think it was Iowa Customs is doing this stuff. You got your microwave and your refrigerator. It's pretty sweet. That's pretty nice work. That'd be pretty cool. What if I get one of those at the desk? The dispatch desk custom. That'd be cool. I was dispatching today, man. I've been dispatching... Dude, I've been dispatching like crazy. Okay. Alright, speaking of, here we go. Run Buggy. If you guys don't know about Run Buggy, go to runbuggy.com, and he is working on a automated system of offering loads that are on your route, so sign up. And right now it's mainly SoCal or Southwest, but still working on it. So I had Run Buggy on the show a few months ago. That is obviously a picture of the Mannheim, New Orleans sign, but it was this that I was getting to. Isn't it interesting, you know, you look at the location maps, and man, there could be a whole, like, cataloged website of location maps. Now, is there a need for that? I'm not sure. But within that vein, I think what would be good is a catalog of where you pull in, where you load, information about auctions, especially Copart and IAA. Man, that stuff, man, you just got to know the specifics. Oh, here we go. This applies to everybody. Price per gallon. In fact, next week, so last week we did, what was it? Know your numbers. And next week we're gonna do cost per mile. So we're gonna finish that off for George. In fact, I mean, it's never finished. The numbers, you know, you could talk about numbers forever, but we didn't get into cost per mile, so we're gonna get into that next week. And oh, there's your total sale. That's nice. It's like putting fuel in a boat. It is a boat. And that is how you finish. I thought that was pretty interesting. You know, that's a nice memorial. I mean, you know, it's a little morbid, I suppose, but it's nice. You know, Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and talk to our first guest. Cool, man. Yeah, keep talking, you guys. That's awesome. All right. Let's go ahead and we're going to talk to Mark at Trucking Answers. Got my phone way over here. Okay. Let's do this.
Hello.
Hey, welcome to Auto Transport Intel.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me here.
Man, all right. So, I'm guessing you just recently finished driving.
Well, I'm parked on my brake, so
Oh,
it worked out perfectly.
man, this worked out great. All right, so
Yeah.
what I'm doing here is I'm welcoming you to Auto Transport Intel in front of my audience. You have your own audience, though. You're on YouTube as Trucking Answers, right?
Right.
All right, so why don't you tell us a little bit more about what Trucking Answers does? What are you doing there?
Well, I saw a lot of drivers with trucking channels that would have just a few months, some of them 3 months experience, and putting out bad information. So I thought, I'm going to put out some good information, and I do regulations and that sort of end of it, and all kinds of logging, all training, that type of thing, and current events. If there's something that comes out in the news about trucking, I'll cover it.
What I noticed is on your videos, I mean, you really dive into some passionate topics, right? I mean, you're not just talking about trucking. I mean, you're passionate about the videos you make, it seems. Am I right?
Right. I love trucking. It's all I've done my whole life, and it's a great career for anybody, and I love it. But to be successful at it over time, you got to keep up with all these regulations and all these other goofy stuff that goes on, because tickets, that takes money out of your pocket. That's no good.
Well, so, I mean, I think that you're more qualified to say, what is it that you're what's getting your goat right now? I mean, I see HR 5358. I heard you talk about personal conveyance. I don't know. What's on your mind right now?
Yeah, I mean, they just changed the personal conveyance so that if you end up at a shipper receiver, if you're going to go park somewhere for your overnight, for your 10-hour break, you can personal conveyance that regardless of the number of hours that you have left. So you don't even have to have run out of hours. That time to the nearest safe parking can be used as personal conveyance. Now, that depends, I guess. Me as a company driver, my company prohibits it. And here, they prohibit the truck use as personal conveyance. So it may depend on whether you own the truck or not. Also, you have to check with your company if you don't own the truck.
Is it a law already? Is it a proposal? It sounds like it's a law, right? Like it's a change to the law.
Yes, it went into effect immediately at the end of May. Yes, it's already in effect. Now, getting that information out to the DOT officer may be another story, but your odds of getting stopped on that are also small, so which is also good.
In essence, this helps drivers, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely, because if you were out of hours, which happens a lot in the freight industry, at a shipper or receiver, and they don't let you sit there, they go, okay, you're loaded, get lost. And so then you have a real problem, but you're not allowed to drive.
Right.
So this ends that. You can drive legally now to somewhere where you can safely park and get your rest.
Now, I heard something about, but if you are continuing on your journey towards your destination, then you can't count that as personal conveyance?
Well, if the nearest safe parking is on the way to your destination, it's allowed.
Right.
It's the nearest safe parking.
And that makes sense. The nearest safe parking. So does that? What if the truck stop is full? There's no parking left. Then you can keep going because that's not the nearest safe parking.
Correct. That's not parking. There's nowhere to park, which is also very common the farther east you go.
So it sounds to me like it would behoove all drivers to know and to be able to cite this new ruling, this change, to a DOT officer. Can you point me in the direction of where to find it? Is it in the ECFR, or where is it?
Well, they published, the FMCSA has published it by now. It was out at the end of May, and they said by the next Tuesday it would be published. So it'll be on the FMCSA in the regulations.
So let's go.
395, I don't have that right here in front of me, but it's in the regulations now.
So let's do it. I'm going to type in, I'm going to search personal conveyance on the FMCSA site and see if I can find it.
I will tell you that citing things to the DOT officer does not always end favorably as well.
Right. So that's a really good point. So what's a good way to handle this? You
have to kind of take it gently if they're, suggesting that you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Some of their egos are very fragile.
Yeah. Boy, I'm telling you, that this is like a whole other show. Like, working with DOT personality. I don't want to say anything crazy, but that's an interesting point. All right, so I'll back off of that. So let's just...
look, most of them are pretty good about it, but I'm just saying, depending on how you approach it, can depend on whether you get a ticket or not.
Okay.
And so maybe you're right. He stickers your ticket, in which you then have to fight. You may have to go to a state 1,000 miles away and show up in court to get it dismissed. You don't want that kind of hassle.
No. So, but that's really, that is nice to hear. So, and I what I found was a July 2017. This says last updated July 12th, 2017. Maybe they meant 2018. I don't know, man. Hey, listen, they don't have to...
Get it. It's legit. We'll get it.
Yeah, we'll get it. All right, so let's move on. Okay, so now that we got some orientation here, there's so much to talk about, but I want to stick to what happens if a driver is trying to figure out, should they haul cars or freight? Let's say you're a driver and you're looking at getting into trucking, and you're at the very beginning. You're in early strategy. Cars or freight? I know that you can tell me about freight. Why would you say let's do freight?
Well, if you don't have any experience, if you're just getting into the industry, there's a lot more freight around. So you're probably more likely to get a job. Certainly if you don't have any experience, you probably shouldn't start out by buying your own truck. You're going to want to get, some experience before you get into that end of it, certainly.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that. What do you think is a good way to do that? Because that question comes up.
Well, there's plenty. Almost all of these large carriers will put you through school, most of them for free.
And that's where...
You don't even have to pay for the school.
And that's where we hear companies like Prime, Swift, right?
Right. Any company that you basically see trucks all over the place is some large carrier, and almost all of them have some kind of way to get you through school, usually at no cost to you. And it's only a few weeks. Everybody knows trucking is only a few weeks long truck school, and then they guarantee you a job if you pass that school. And so that's a way to go through, get your license, and get experience at no cost.
It's interesting. There is another YouTuber, Stephen Hartz. He actually is the host of Hotshot Trucking Life on Facebook, and he has a YouTube channel, and he's a Swift driver. It's pretty interesting. You can see what is it like to be in one of those early programs, learning, and I like seeing his YouTube channel because it gives that perspective.
Right.
And so, let's say you're a freight hauler. Let's say you get out of school and you're driving. Let's say you go on to your own, because I think this is what people want to get to. What's a range of expectation of dollar per mile with a 53-foot drive in?
Well, now I'm a company driver, so I don't know the total. I don't want to speak and say you're going to get this a mile. So, and I know a lot of it varies by route. Some lanes are, I hear some of it where some lanes are $1.60 to the truck, and some are $3.60 to the truck. So a lot of it depends, and it depends on what you're hauling as well, and what time of the year it is. There's a lot of factors.
Oh man!
To it. And the last I hauled my own truck was many years ago. I was on at Landstar, but the freight rates are way different now. I've been at my current company for 16 years. That was a long time ago, and back when the dinosaurs were, I had Dodge dinosaurs.
And I think everybody would say that we're assuming it's because of ELD. I mean, rates are up, right?
Yes, I've heard that from basically everybody.
Right, and right, exactly. And I know, like, Trucking Authority with Kenny Long. I think he goes live on Tuesdays oftentimes, and he did a show like a week ago where they were kind of looking at what I call the weather map of rates and 2 to 1 and 4 to 1 and 16 to 1 of the loads available versus trucks available, and yeah, I mean, there seemed like a lot of positivity right now for the marketplace. And then we're hearing, oh, you just did a video on this talking about whether or not there's actually a shortage of drivers. Go ahead and weigh in on that for me.
No, there's no shortage of drivers at all. It's made up. It's totally made up. I mean, 300,000 people a year get a CDL, a new CDL, and they're talking about a 90,000 or some driver shortage. There's no shortage. Large companies just can't keep drivers. If you have 5,000 trucks and you can hire 10,000 drivers, they have these huge turnover rates, you don't really have a shortage.
Right. So it's not a shortage, it's a high turnover.
It's a super high turnover at some places. But the article that I was looking at shows like LTL companies, which would be like UPS and Yellow Freight, they only have a 10% turnover. So there must be something that's keeping them there, where these other companies that, can't keep drivers. There's got to be some kind of difference in that.
It seems like everything I'm asking you, you've got. I really like your answers, and I like your videos too. So if somebody wants to contact you, what is there a way to do that? What should they do? Comment on your videos or what?
Sure, they can comment on the videos. They can email me, through YouTube or at barbell12 at gmail.com. That's also on the YouTube channel. So, or comment, whatever they want to do, absolutely.
So
Facebook, they can tweet at me on Twitter, Trucking Answers, whatever they want to do.
That's right, Trucking Answers. So on Facebook, Twitter, it's at Trucking Answers, right?
Right.
Right, okay, cool. Yeah, in fact, this Trucking Answers driven logo is from your Facebook page. So,
it's across all media.
Cool, okay, awesome. Awesome. And you said something interesting that caught my attention. You were talking about some of your strategies with YouTube to increase your YouTube presence. What were you saying? I skimmed it. I was working on this show. You had like some things that you were doing.
Yeah, I do a lot of videos. I try to put a video out, 4 to 5 times a week, and I try to keep them short because people don't have, I know drivers, don't have a lot of time. Maybe they have a few minutes, whether they could be standing there waiting for the paperwork and watch one of my short videos and get some information out of it. And I try to brand all the thumbnails so that if people see a video, they know it's from me and not from somebody that, has just started driving last week and is giving out information, that type of thing.
Yeah, you spend a lot of time on thumbnails?
It doesn't take that long to do a thumbnail, but, I get an idea in my head, then I go try to find the picture or take the picture, 20, 30 minutes.
Yep. Well, you know what, for an image, that can be a lot of time, but I agree with you. I spend that time. I put that time in. Of course, I'm on the other side of it. I'm making 2-hour live shows, so I don't know what I'm thinking.
I haven't gone live yet. I went live for a couple of minutes, but I plan to do some live Q&A with new drivers. I want to get new drivers the information, good information that they want, where I'm not just trying to, I've seen a lot of people that, come here, work at my company because they're getting some kind of recruiting bonus. You have to be careful about that,
Well,
just give them information. A lot of these drivers, they only talk up their own company because every driver that gives them their name, they get $750 or whatever. So that's something you got to be careful about.
Okay, good to know. Well, I was going to say, there's another YouTuber, Hotshot Dave, and he does Hotshot car hauling, and I've had him on the show for a couple personal coaching sessions. And if I had a freight hauler contact me that wanted to do a little coaching on the show, would you be willing to do a live coaching?
Absolutely.
All right, man. I put you on the spot. How could you say no?
Oh, sure. I'm all in. Anything I could do to help the trucking industry or somebody in the industry, I'm for it.
Yeah, me too. And I knew that. I mean, again, your videos, you clearly really care about what you're talking about, and so I knew right away I wanted to have you on the show. And so I thank you for coming on my show and talking with me and talking with us. I'm not letting you go. I really want to take this moment to thank you and it's really cool. I appreciate you coming on, and really, dude, you're one of the first freight hauling first freight hauling participants that I've had on this show. So I'm kind of excited about talking more about freight. In fact, New Age Trucker, he's in the live chat right now. I know that he's a freight hauler. I'm pretty sure he's hauling a dry van, and I want to say like East Coast, Midwest. What area do you drive?
Midwest.
Midwest?
Yeah. I've been all over. I've been all the way to the top of Alaska. I've been everywhere.
You've been to Alaska?
I've been to Alaska years ago when I didn't know what I was doing. I got a load that went up to some drilling part. When I was hauling a flatbed, they're like, "Hey, you're single. You want to go to Alaska?"
What? You're single.
Like, well,
you want to go to Alaska? Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
Percentage. I'm like, well, I can't come back empty because the band, they didn't pay you anything on percentage. You got 25% of nothing.
Wow.
He goes, no, BP's got a part that's going back to Dallas at a 3.6. I said, oh, all right.
All right, that makes sense.
He goes, I'll get you home in a couple months.
So how was that? What was it like driving up through? All I can think of like ice road truckers.
Well, it was summer. Fortunately, it was August. The road's gravel, 45-mile speed limit. So not terrible. But the problem is it's got a lot of hills that you don't have here. Some of the steep grades are 15% on that road, where here 7% max. So watch the downhills, as they say. But you have to get going to get up the next hill. And, yeah.
Okay.
In the winter, I've never done it in the winter.
Yeah, no, that sounds terrible. But even in the summer, that sounds challenging. I mean, that sounds more challenging than U.S. interstates.
Oh, absolutely. You can feel the truck, moving underneath you on the road and everything. Sure. You're going 45 down a gravel road.
Isn't it interesting? I mean, I'm sure drivers think of this stuff all the time, but as a citizen, when I travel and when I'm driving a car, I realize how amazing our U.S. interstate system is. Isn't it pretty amazing?
Yeah, even with all the potholes, it's still very efficient and probably the best in the world, certainly.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So shout out to the United States interstate system.
Yeah, thanks, General Eisenhower.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, man, that's awesome. Infrastructure, right?
I always try to work Eisenhower in every day.
Oh, yeah. That's a good, well, you know what? And that's another aspect that's cool about trucking is geographical history and historical history. I mean, but you really do, like, I know one of the drivers I work with, Paladin Enterprises, he's always got great stories about different cities and, right? I mean, you learn history here and there, or, oh my gosh, I definitely got to check out the Alamo again, or whatever it is.
Oh, it's the greatest. You get to see the entire country. I recommend that to people. Go with a company that goes nationwide when you start driving, and go see the whole country and get paid to do it. Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, there's another YouTuber, JBG Travels. I don't know if you've ever seen his channel.
Yeah, that channel I've heard of.
Wow. Yeah. He's doing really well. I mean, I went to Social Blade and I was checking out his subscribers, and man, he's killing it. But he's got great video. He's got a lot of dash cam. I think he flies a drone. I got to get a drone. Do you have a drone?
No, apparently I need a drone.
Dude, we should all have drones. Let's try and get some, I'm going to dig back in the live chat here. Let me see if I can find some questions. I know Big Rig, a.k.a. Dollar Bill, he might have some questions, so I'm hoping if Bill, if you haven't asked a question and you've got one, go ahead and type it now if you're able.
Somebody was saying something about freight and cars at the same time, because I was watching the channel before you called, and I'm interested to know how that would work.
Well, and you know what's interesting is I hope that, I know Dispatch Garage, Roman with Dispatch Garage, I'm going to call him next. I know he's a little tight on time, but I'm hoping we can talk about some of that. Let's see.
I think you could put a container on the trailer, like a 20-foot container, and have room for a car behind it. How about that?
I wouldn't do that. No? I don't. I mean, somebody probably would, because somebody will do anything. But I don't think so. It's an interesting question. What kind of trailer go with in freight for the Rockies? Oh, wow. Dry van, flatbed, or reefer? what kind of trailer to go with in freight for the for rookies. I'm reading the Rockies. For rookies. What kind of trailer for rookies? And how about that?
Well, I mean,
yeah.
There's mostly drive-in. It's probably the most common.
Drive-in.
So you probably have the most options.
Right. I think in flatbed you can get into weight, and reefer you have those additional considerations, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they would teach you that. Reefer's easy. It's just you just turn it on. I mean, it's not that hard anymore. But the drive-in, there's just more options, especially starting out when your options may be more limited because of your experience. Drive-in is the most prevalent, so there's probably more options for you.
Yeah. Hey, New Age Trucker says there's a shortage of drivers that want to work for pennies.
Of that.
That's a good one. That's a good one,
yeah.
New Age. Let's see. What would be the minimum insurance bond amount I would need to start hauling on a 3-car wedge? Does it matter what states you're driving? I'm just going to say this on that. When you get into insurance with cars, normally you need $50K of cargo insurance per car. But when you're starting out, you can get away with $100,000 on a 3-car. So, Patrick, your answer is $100,000 cargo. But you need $1 million liability no matter what size car hauler. How's the insurance on the freight haulers?
That's something that I don't know about.
Okay.
As a company driver, it's provided by the company.
Yeah, that's okay. That makes sense. All right.
Yeah, I don't have that answer. Sorry.
Well, that's all good. I mean, there's so many areas to talk about. So, and that's another thing. I appreciate you coming on the show. I mean, we didn't talk very long before I had you on the show. I do that. I'll just kind of say hello. Hey, you want to be on the show? Okay, I'll talk to you later. And that I don't know how fair that is, but it's fun.
I don't know how big it's car haulers. I've never done it.
Let's go for it. Make sure you have cargo in a good amount if you're hauling cars, and that's in all 50 states. Okay, thanks. Let's see. Got it. Reefer. Oh, okay. New Age Trucker says reefer. Is there better money in reefer than dry van, maybe?
Well, as a company driver, I think the money's the same.
Right. I'm with you. And now, so getting a company driver gig, I mean, was that hard? Did you have to pay your dues a lot, or what's the deal there?
No, I didn't. I mean, I started driving in 1988, and there wasn't even any training, right? I just went, truck school, got a job Monday, no problem. And it's still just about that easy, to go to truck school and get a job. It really isn't that hard anymore. Now, you got to get a good trainer. Some of these companies also, they have trainers, and they'll let somebody be a trainer after they've been driving 9 months. So you can have a trainer that started driving in March, and so at the end of fall, they're now a trainer for you. They've never even seen a snowflake in their life. You have to be careful about that. You want somebody that's got some experience to teach you. You both don't want to learn how to go across down or pass, trying to figure out how to put on change when neither you know what you're doing.
Oh, I know even in car hauling, when I talk to a driver that's going to work in the Northwest, I mean, I'm apprehensive. I know it's going to be full of challenges. It can be done, but I'm looking for somebody who's lived in Idaho forever if we're going to do the Northwest.
Right, that would be helpful.
Yeah, I mean...
You don't want your trainer to be from Louisiana that's never been in snow this whole life.
Right, oh my gosh.
Driving a few months ago.
Some
companies do that because they can't get people to stay, so they don't have that many experienced drivers. So 9 months and they're a trainer.
Yeah, okay.
I think after 2 years they become the CEO of the company.
Right, exactly, and then, and then they just call it, and then they move on to the FMCSA. Actually, they came from the FMCSA. Oh, come on, that's not fair. That's not fair. But, I mean, overall, let's talk about ELD for a second. I mean, what do you think is happening? Are we headed in the right direction? Is it just a logical, I don't know. What do you think is happening in trucking? Is there a way to weigh in on what I just said?
Drivers forever, until this happened, always cheated, and I never thought that they should. You're going over your hours, and it's only helping the company to keep rates down and to keep pay down because you're willing to do more than one person's work. The electronic log finally makes people run legal. And look what happened. The rates are up. I've gotten 3 raises since the fall. Companies are raising pay all over the place because they can't, now their trucks have to sit around. They have to sit. They have to do a break. It's the greatest thing ever. It's just going to increase pay for everybody. and it's only electronically making you do what you should have been doing anyway.
So, and before I rebut about car hauling, I feel like this is like a strange chess game. This really is apples and oranges. So I'm glad I picked that graphic. Um, Here's a quick question: what kind of loads does a dry van take? Can you give some examples?
Yeah, everything that you see at the store that's not in the refrigerated section.
Right, and so, and I mean, and the shipper and the receiver, they do all the loading and unloading. It's a drive and bump the dock kind of thing.
Yeah, anymore, I mean, you don't really do any hand unloading. There are lumpers, which you don't have at car haulers, which you go to a large warehouse and there's a lumper that charges you or your company to unload the truck, and generally you're required to use them, and they're very expensive. But the driver, you know, it's been a long time before I heard of drivers unloading their own loads.
And you were telling me about lumpers when we first talked. I wasn't familiar. So, do me a favor again. Will you define what a lumper is?
When you get to a shipper receiver, there'll be a lumper service there generally, and they'll look at the trailer and go, all right, $350 to unload it, and so you got to pay them. Basically, you've got to pay them, and then they unload your trailer, which sometimes they just take it off with pallet jacks. It's so aggravating, and then you get out of there, and it's a huge scam. Walmart is big about it. So you sit there, and then you got to pay these lumpers, which I assume split it with the shipper and receiver. That's why it's so much. It seems to be a huge scam to me. The shipper receiver should load or unload their own freight. Why do you have to pay?
Right. Yeah, no, it is. It's pretty crazy because, I mean, you're already on the job, and then it's like a guy comes around the corner with a toothpick and says, hey, how you doing?
Well, it'd be like you're delivering a car to the dealer, and he goes, oh, yeah, we have people that are going to do that, and you got 3 cars, so it's $500. You got to pay it.
Totally. Oh, my gosh. In car hauling, that would be, I mean, that'd be about the only thing left that I think they're not doing. Because, I mean, all these other crazy... And that brings me back to ELD. See, to me, that's the problem with the ELD. As in car hauling, I know. ELD is just an enforcement of the laws you're already supposed to be doing. Although I thought of another example today. You know how everybody does their taxes, right? Come to tax time? Because, I mean, everybody's 100% accurate all the time when they do their taxes, right?
Exactly.
Right.
I certainly am.
Absolutely. Me too.
Loudly.
And I can't believe you'd even suggest otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I don't either. It's really weird. But in case anybody is thinking of doing it any other way, how about a personal digital assistant to sit on your shoulder every day and remind you, you know, to count the gumballs and the stamps and all the stuff? I don't know, you know? I don't think gumballs and stamps apply here, but, you know, right? I mean, what's the difference? It's like we just need constant digital monitoring to make sure that we're doing everything correctly.
We have to see this the other side of it, in that if we didn't have this kind of stuff, the company would have you drive 24 hours a day if they could get away with it.
Well,
you can use this to your own benefit to get some sleep.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's an interesting point. I mean, and that's where there's the articles about the dock drivers, right? Like, I know Port of Long Beach was discussed, and they were working like 16 hours plus.
To make their payments. They had a truck payment, and so they had to work all these crazy hours, and they were hardly making any money.
And so... And what are those dock drivers doing? They're just driving around the docks? They're moving containers? Is that what they're doing?
I think the guys they're talking about are the ones that like locally deliver the containers. They'll pick it up at the dock and then they'll deliver it. But the docks, intermodal, what that's called intermodal, can have huge waits. It might be 50 trucks lined up to get in. You have to wait.
Right.
You have to wait for that crane to go pick it up and put it on you and all that.
Yeah.
And so that's taking half of their day, which they don't get paid any time for that.
In fact, if it's a lumper, they have to pay to get loaded, right?
Right.
I'm kidding. It's not a lumper.
But they're around.
But yeah, I'm with you. But that would be, and in fact, that would be the here's the ultimate offense would be you do the Walmart intermodal, and then you got to pay a lumper, and then they put a boot on your truck because you're not supposed to be in the parking lot.
Oh, nice.
And then your ELD runs out.
Right.
Hey! Oh.
That's great. I love trucking.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, let's end there. Do you recommend trucking?
Absolutely.
You do.
Oh, certainly. It's a great career.
Yeah.
The problem now, it's changed. I mean, I can teach anybody to drive. I've been a trainer and stuff. Teaching people to drive now seems to be the least of everybody's problem. It's keeping up with all the rules and the technology. That's the most important thing. It's like we have a couple drivers that don't even have a cell phone, and teaching them the electronic log was a huge disaster. So if you're unwilling to keep up with technology, I think you're going to be left behind.
That's interesting. And that's always been a problem. I mean, right, when they switched from the broom to the vacuum cleaner, there must have been people who are like, no, I'm using a broom. Forget it.
Right. Yeah, right. Some people didn't like when we went to automatics. About half our trucks are automatic. Some drivers didn't like that. But I could teach them that. This technology, the truck with all the screens in it and stuff, that's a real problem.
And how about this? Do you want to weigh in on automated, driverless vehicles? What do you autonomous vehicles? Where do you think we're headed with that?
It's coming, but it's decades away. Even someone right now that's 21 will have a whole career before they even see anything like that happening.
I agree with you. And then when it does,
my car has lane keeping assist. It can't even find the lane half the time.
Yeah, no, it seems like really complicated technology, but like everything else, it'll get there. But yeah, I mean and when you hear about the accidents, I mean, that's the kind of thing you think there's got to be a million ways to get in an accident with an autonomous vehicle.
Well, the other problem, just a few months ago, I was coming down the interstate and the police had it closed. And they were actually turning people around because it was such a huge accident in the median and having you go back the other way. And so I turned around, but I thought about that. An autonomous truck wouldn't be able to do that because it knows it can't drive through the median.
An autonomous truck thinks the waving means gun it.
It wouldn't. It's not allowed to go through the middle.
I meant hit the gas. Like Smokey and the Bandit style.
Oh, right.
Like it just starts cranking up the Dukes of Hazzard music.
Just sit there, but the police wouldn't want a bunch of these trucks sitting there blocking everything.
But
then they can't get fire trucks through. So stuff like that, it's a long, long way off.
By then, all the police are robots. It's all RoboCop, right?
Yeah, dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Oh, yeah, man, RoboCop. All right, well, listen, man. I guess on that note, I think I'm gonna let you go. It's been great having you on the show. I told you 30 minutes would fly by.
Yeah, it's past already. It's hard to believe.
I know it is. It's crazy. So, are you? What's next for you? Do you get this was your break? Are you hitting the road? You have more driving to do?
Oh yeah, I drop and hook here and head on and hit the road again.
Yeah. All right. And then so typically, how late, I don't know, do you stay up kind of later and start later? I mean, have you found a pattern to work around, like, rush hour traffic stuff?
Yeah, in your life, in everything, you should always do things people are unwilling to do. You'll have a better time at it. So if you'll start at a different time than everybody, you get, roads are clearer, there's places to park and everything. So always work off hours if you can, especially with electronic logs. People are parked everywhere, so work off hours, and you'll be better off if you can do it.
And in your case, do you have a regular route so the truck stops you're going to go to, that kind of thing?
Yes, I do the same thing every day.
Okay, all right. And does your company have to pay for parking, or is parking?
No, but, I have heard of places that are starting to pay. There's more and more of this paid parking at truck stops, too, which I'm sure everybody has seen.
Yeah.
There are companies now that are starting to pay or reimburse for it. So I thought was interesting.
That's good. They should. I'm hearing paid parking pretty regularly already. Like it happened that fast. It's like, okay, paid parking.
Everywhere you go, there's 8 spots, and the next time there's 10, 12, then it's half the parking lot. I mean, it's really expanding quickly.
Yeah.
Because that's a great way for the truck stops to just, evict money out of your wallet and give it to them.
I think
basically the truth.
That's well put. Yeah. I mean, if they can't make it on the beef jerky and the showers, let's do parking.
Yeah. Well, they're not making it on the showers. I stand behind people all the time at the line there to get my receipt.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Well,
go get a shower.
yeah, man. Number 31? 31?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of being a professional too. I think, is comporting yourself like a professional. You can't come in with a tank top that you wore for the last 6 days, and harass the waitress and not shower, and then complain that you're not treated like a professional.
By the way, I hear a lot of talk about flip-flops. Do a lot of guys wear flip-flops?
Oh my gosh, the flip-flops! If I could ban them, I just would ban them. Why are you wearing flip-flops? Put some shoes on,
dude. I almost never drive a car with flip-flops. I don't understand. Drivers are wearing flip-flops?
Yeah, they're wearing them, but you're at work and you want to be a professional. You can't wear flip-flops. Get some sleeves on.
I don't care. I really don't care. I would have never thought of that.
It would seem like calling a car, you couldn't wear flip-flops, you'd fall off of it.
I would want sneakers minimum. I don't know. I'm working here.
There's stuff at the truck stop you don't want to step in, too.
Oh, man. Forget about it.
The stuff people throw out of their trucks at the truck stop, you don't want that.
The truck stop and the pee jugs and yeah.
Oh, you got to wear a biohazard suit to walk around the truck stop.
Totally. You don't want to be in flip-flops. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Exactly.
There was a guy, I think he dumped out his jug in the parking lot, and he got caught, so they made him clean it up, and he was wearing flip-flops. Oh, man, so he's basically walking the parking lot in his own pee and his flip-flops. Oh, man, that's nuts. Oh, man, that's awful. I knew this show would take a nasty turn. I just knew it.
That was terrible.
That was terrible. Well,
people are mad enough at me for not even hauling cars around.
I know. They're like, who is this guy? He's not talking about cars. Well,
I lived a few miles from the Subaru plant, too, and they advertise all the time that I've never done it.
Yeah? Well, and that's the thing is, well, how would you? You drive a dry van, right, and you work for a freight company. You're not going to be hauling cars.
But I could get a job there, certainly. They advertise all the time, but it always seems scary to me. That car on the top, I always thought in the winter, how do you zing that thing up on the top to the front of the thing without flying off the end of it?
Let me tell you, I show photos of that sometimes. I don't know, and I don't want to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're wearing flip-flops.
Oh, right, in the middle of winter.
Right.
You're slipping on all the frozen pee everywhere. What a mess.
Dude, do you haul produce at all? Or
do I do what?
Do you do produce at all? No.
Loadings.
Produce?
Produce. Yeah, I've done produce, yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's
plenty of reefers.
Okay, that's part of reef. Okay, so produce would be in a reefer because you want to have that temperature controlled.
Yeah, that's a complicated one because it has to maintain a tight temperature.
Yeah.
So the reefer has to constantly run. You're checking it all the time. It's 42. They mean 42. They don't want 38. You freeze the lettuce, right? Too warm, it's no good. So, those are the harder loads. They put all kinds of temperature monitors in the load, and as soon as you go to deliver it, they go through there and get them all out and look at it and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yep, to make sure that it maintains the correct temperature on the whole load.
Interesting. Okay, car haulers, that's something to think about because I know car hauling has a lot of risks, but temperature is not one of them. So that is very interesting. So, wow. Well, cool, man. Well, listen, that was really interesting and informative. I think it was a great segment and a great lead into my next segment. We're going to talk about cars and freight together. So, Mark, thank you so much for joining me on the show. And once again, why don't you tell people how to contact you?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube at Trucking Answers, and they can tweet at me at Trucking Answers or email me at barbell1223@gmail.com or comment on a video or through YouTube app. I'm just everywhere.
Right, so that's BARBELL1223@gmail.com.
Right, and that's also on the YouTube page.
And that's on the YouTube.
Find it there as well.
Okay, cool.
My contact info's on there as well.
Okay, awesome.
I'll be happy to answer any questions or whatever.
Yeah.
Although not too many car hauling questions. I had good answers to that.
You're probably going to get more questions than either one of us realizes. There seems to be a pattern where people come on the show and then they get some questions they didn't expect. So I hope that happens with this too.
Sure, I'm happy to help anybody. No problem.
Yeah, it's clear. So, listen, man, thank you so much. I highly recommend your YouTube channel, and let's keep in touch, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on here. I appreciate it.
Cool, man. Yeah, it was fun, too.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, cool, man. All right, you take care. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, thank you.
All
Bye-bye.
right. All right, peace. All right. I knew that was going to be fun. So, yeah, you got to check out his videos. He's very passionate. And I think that information mixed with passion is great content. So, which is why I'm clearly so animated. Okay, let's go to Dispatch Garage. Let's talk to Roman. I know. It's tough. The phone is in the shot, so it's tough to dial. It's a good thing I don't work that way. That'd be ridiculous. Okay.
Hello?
Hey, Roman, welcome to Auto Transport Intel.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, good. I'll try not to take too much of your time. I know that you're on a tight timeline tonight, but I really wanted to have you. What's that?
No, I got like 25, 30 minutes actually.
Perfect.
So you're good.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad because we just talked with Trucking Answers. We talked about freight hauling, and I know that I've got people watching the show, whether they're in the live chat now or they're going to watch this on demand, that want to know more about if they are a hotshot hauler, what is it like getting freight and cars booked at the same time? Do you mix them? What are the load boards? So having said that, why don't you tell us what Dispatch Garage is?
Well, my channel basically is I try to, and you're asking about the channel, right?
Yeah, well, the channel and you, but yes, that's right.
Yeah, well, the channel I made about a year ago, and I posted only 2 videos, and I went on YouTube and I tried to find something about, and at the time being, maybe I just didn't do enough research, but now there's a bunch of stuff, but at the time being, I was like, man, there's not much dispatching stuff that I could find, and I'm sure because I used to be a driver myself, and I was curious, what goes in the office, how stuff happens, just an idea, because a lot of drivers are just clueless, So I put out 2 videos, they're short videos, and they got a lot of views, and I didn't post nothing for a year, and then I was like, hey, I need to get back into it, because even my own drivers that drive they don't know what goes on in the office, and one of the guys came in and was like, dude, I actually didn't know what you do. So I was like, well, here you go. And then that's why I started shooting videos, helping people out about Hotshot and trucking itself, and and what goes on in the office.
Well, and I know that, so my channel, I started this channel, it was almost a year ago, and okay. I had been making video, actually I have a long background in video and audio, and I'm also a blogger, but this channel was started about a year ago, and I noticed when I was starting it, that was part of my encouragement and excitement, there wasn't a lot about dispatching. There still isn't a lot about dispatching.
Yeah.
It's right. It's kind of a so when I see you dispatching, I'm like, yeah, there's not many people doing that, and I like watching your dispatching videos because when you talk about freight load boards, man, I am like I'm so interested in learning more about freight load boards. In fact, I know more now than I did even just a few months ago. I mean, like, for example, you were talking about top freight load boards, and I think you said really you would look to 2 freight load boards. Am I right?
Yeah, for freight, honestly, I've used a ton, not a ton, but a few load boards, and these 2 load boards that we're talking about, which you're probably telling what it is.
Yeah.
These 2, I didn't find any. The other load boards are just a waste of time. These are my top, and I have some broker friends that are in the industry, and they're like,
we don't even bother posting on the little load boards, those other ones. These are the top load boards.
Well, and those two are, we're gonna say it, dat.com
Yep.
and Internet Trucks.
And
Internet Truck Stop. Well, I got truckstop.com. internettruckstop.com, right?
Yep. And then powerdat.com.
So there's, okay, so it is, truckstop.com is internettruckstop.com?
Yeah, it's easier to say just truckstop.com than
Okay.
internet truckstop, so it's the same thing.
That's what it used to be called, is that right? Because there used to be,
It used to be called, I think, like Truckstop 360. There's a couple names back in the day, but now it's Internet Truckstop.
and dat.com, is that the same thing as power.dat.com?
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Okay. All right. So now both of these load boards, dat.com and truckstop.com, that's what I'm going to call them now because, not knowing the history.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So are these free load boards or they're not free? Are they?
No, definitely not.
Definitely
they
not
top
free.
about like $100 per user, basically. So let's say I have 4 screens at work, right? And that means $400 per month on those screens,
$100.
So not per.
Wow. Because you have 4 usernames. 4.
Yeah, because I can't. Yeah, because I can't use. They used to have it where one user could have multiple accounts. This is per account. I can't. If I go open another tab of this, it's just going to be another tab of Internet Truck Stop. It's just going to show up. They're both going to be showing the exact same thing.
Wow.
And if you switch search history, search, it's going to both. They're both going to change. So that's why you need different accounts.
Wow, I hope that nobody tells Central Dispatch about this idea.
Yeah, definitely not.
So every time you open a search window, they charge you $50.
No.
No, but what, you know what I'm saying? I'll do 2 screens of I'll have two search windows on each screen. That's 4 search windows, and really that's the minimum. Sometimes there have been times I've had 3 and 4 screens, and I've had, in fact, in the old. Do you remember the old look? What I like to call the better look, because in the old look I could do 4 windows on a screen. Now I can't because the things don't squeeze right, and that's a definite improvement. Thanks, Central Dispatch. So now, but if I had 4 screens per monitor and 2 monitors, that's 8 screens at $25 a window. Shoot, man, make it $100 a window. That's $800 a month.
Yep, exactly.
What I'm getting at is
a way to make money.
What I'm getting at is that seems kind of crazy that you got to pay per screen, but hey, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess your bottom line, it's okay based on the gross revenue of what you book. Clearly covers the cost of the expenses of the load boards.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
If I was using just 1 or 2 screens, I honestly would not get away with that. I need more screens.
Let me ask you this: do you think that in Central Dispatch, the offset of what it costs to pay for the account? Okay, what I'm trying to say here is, let me ask you this: do you have your own Central Dispatch account?
I don't have. I share with somebody else.
You share, exactly.
But Central Dispatch is the only account that you could even do that. Or meaning the only load board, or even car/load board.
It's interesting.
Account you could do that with.
So right now, I think I would say if Cox Automotive is watching this show, which I doubt. Oh, hang on. Oh man, my screen's going crazy. If Cox Automotive was watching this show, I think they would say, "Yeah, we're going to raise our rate." right?
Probably.
I think they would. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
man, there's a lot of money to be made here. I mean, clearly per screen. So that's really interesting. So, all right, let's talk about booking cars and booking freight, because you do both, right?
Yep, I do.
All right. So, in a nutshell, if you had somebody that's talking about getting into hotshotting, and you were going to kind of give them the basic understanding of, okay, this is what you can do with cars, this is what you can do with freight. I mean, I don't know. How do you begin that conversation?
Well, the thing is, what I do is I load cars and freight even on the same hotshot truck, you know, and also cars separately. And it just depends because, see, I book cars only when there isn't a partial to go with them. If I have 15 feet available, guess what I'm doing? You know, I'm booking a car.
Okay, so right there, did you just say that you would put booking freight above booking a car?
With the truck setups that we have now, yes, because on our trucks, on our hotshot trucks, we could only fit 2 cars. So if I'm booking 2 cars on one truck, it's not worth it. You know, I think it starts becoming worth it when you have 3 cars on one truck and trailer. You know, so that's why I put with me. I only search for freight first. That's my priority. You know, I do have central open, and sometimes there'd be like a truck that's paying, you know, good money that's, you know, weighing like 10,000 pounds that nobody else wants to grab. You know, the haulers. So I'll do that. But other than that, I'm looking for freight. As soon as I get a good freight, something small, and I could fit a car, truck, SUV, whatever, motorcycle, I'm on Central Dispatch. And I have Central Dispatch open all day, every day, you know?
Now, okay, so with the trailers you're loading for hotshotting, what would be an example of a trailer? I'm going to pull that up, okay?
Like it's 36-foot trailers.
36-foot, okay, and we're talking like a 36-foot flatbed?
Yeah, flat. Some older trailers that we still have that we purchased a long time ago it's basically a dovetail where ramps fold out. And we were trying to get rid of all of those. They're just not worth it. In my experience, the 36-foot trailers are, if you're, let's put it this way, because we have a lot of non-CDL drivers. They still go through all the training, everything. They just don't have a CDL, and they can't go above 26,000 pounds, you know? So 36-foot trailers are, any day I'll pick over 32-foot. So if we're talking what kind of trailers, I mean, there's different brands. I mean, there's PJ Big Techs, if we're talking brands, but if we're talking length, 36-foot is the way to go.
All right, so there we go. So there's your recommendation. Big Tech's 36-foot flatbed trailer would be one of the models you would recommend looking at as a beginning hotshot. Would you say that?
Yeah, if I'm a driver, if I'm looking to get into it and I don't have a CDL, my first pick would be Big Tech's 36-foot trailer right off the bat, flat 36-foot with. I mean, it does have ramps, but you pull out the ramps, not like dovetail ramps, you know. If I'm a CDL driver and I'm trying to haul heavy loads, I'll go with the PJ trailer. PJ trailer is a little more sturdy and more heavy duty. So that would be my choice. But either way, they're both great trailers.
And PJ, okay, so, and those are both 36-foot trailers, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, now, so, I mean, so we'd be talking to somebody that you're saying that if they don't have a CDL, this is the way to go because they're going to, and what kind of truck are they going to use with that? A 5500?
No, you don't have to go that big. You could go 3500, like let's say a Ram, if we're talking a Ram, you know, we could do a 3500. Or a Ford, if we're talking Ford F350, you know, that's honestly, if you're a non-CDL, that's more than enough.
Okay. All right, so you got a 3500 and you pick up the 36-foot flatbed trailer. And then what do? You just decide that, what could you do? I mean, could you call you and say, hey, can you do my dispatching?
Well, about that, I have so much people asking me, especially with the videos I put out of me calling brokers and going back and forth. I had a lot of people emailing me and asking me. I only dispatch company trucks.
Yeah.
I don't. Nobody else. It's kind of a closed area over there.
Well, no,
So
I know. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I made a YouTube account or YouTube channel to help people, get into it because I don't know. I feel like people should know about it and should know more info. And a lot of people charge for info, like basic info. Basically, they're saying like what kind of truck you need. Hey, I've heard of this before. Like, hey, send me $50, I'll tell you. Like that
Right.
shouldn't be right. I mean, when it gets in depth where you got to teach somebody, that's different.
Yes.
And I want to help people, but I can't dispatch. I can't just be like, hey, somebody, through YouTube or whatever, be like, hey, can you dispatch me? We only dispatch company trucks. So the trucks we actually all own. The company does. There's no owner ops in our fleet.
And I'm with you. I mean, dispatching really takes a lot of time. It's a dedicated art. So I know that, I think he's still in here right now, DP Dispatch. He is able to take on more clients right now. So yeah, I know. When there's a dispatcher that's able to take on more clients, suddenly they become a commodity. And I know there's other dispatchers out on Facebook, and I've talked to, I think it's PJC Dispatch. I think he does cars and freight.
Okay.
And then there is Murphy Auto Transport. They do cars. They're based in the Midwest. I think that they've usually got spots. East West Express Hauling. They're a dispatch service on the East Coast, and I think that they've got available dispatchers. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you run across somebody that needs a dispatcher and you can't take them on, feel free to have them contact me, or you can contact me and I can see if I can come up with a referral. But I think there are dispatchers out there with the ability to take on another driver. So, and if someone wants to contact you, how do they contact you?
Well, you could. I answer almost all of my YouTube comments. I try to go over everybody and help them out. Or you could email me at dispatcheslife@gmail.com. Or Instagram Dispatch Garage. So if anybody has questions, I'm glad to answer. If I got time, I'll try to keep it short and sweet, and I hope whoever's asking is keeping it short and sweet too.
So how about that? Yeah, and I'm with you. And say it again. Dispatch. What was your email address again?
Dispatcheslife@gmail.com.
So
I thought that would be a fun one to come up with. So
dispatch. Did you say .life?
No, dispatch is.
Oh, dispatch is life.
Yep.
Oh, okay, at gmail.com?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Dispatch is life at gmail.com. I like dispatch is life. That is good. Hashtag.
It definitely represents my life right now.
Yeah, I know. It really takes up a lot of time, and especially when you're working on a route and you're looking for stuff. Here's one. I want to ask you this, and then I'm going to let you go shortly. With numbers, can you, like, I can say a car hauler is looking for 50 cents a mile per car as kind of a base. 60 cents is good. Is there an equivalent numbering system in freight that you could talk about?
Well, the thing is, what my strategy is with Hotshot is, well, the thing is, the prices on gas is going up, so my standards are going up a little higher. But what I try to do is, so if my trailer is 36 feet long and I could fit about 10,500 pounds onto that, I try to find at least something half of that length and half of that weight for at least $1 a mile. I don't even touch it if it's not. So for me, that's a good start. And after that, I could either book a car or book another partial to go with it, you know, and it's going to shoot me another dollar a mile, you know. So I try to stay between that, and I run the West Coast. Like meaning like Oregon, Washington, Idaho, California. That's mostly what we run. We try to stay out of everywhere else.
You know, you just made me think of, I watched one of your videos where you were calling in about a load, and I've got a couple images here that I got these off of Google of the load board and what it looks like, and which it looks very different from like the car load boards, right? I mean, it's more of these long rows and then different factors, and when you call in, I mean, you seem to be able to navigate the parameters of freight very well. I mean, right? There's what are some of the main factors? Like, I know in cars, I'm thinking, what's the pickup and delivery location? What are the dimensions? Is it a run and drive? You know, and it's really what type of pickup and delivery locations is a big deal to me. What are some of those factors that you're thinking about with freight?
Well, one of the factors is if it's how tall is it, you know, and obviously with Hotshots, almost everything comes in play. How long, how heavy, you know, because some brokers, they just shoot like, oh, it's about 10,000 pounds, or it's about this long, you know. I don't need about, I need to know how long and how heavy it is, you know, and because I can't bring in my Hotshot, and this happened a lot of times where the broker says, oh yeah, it's something light, and you come and it's 15,000 pounds. I was like, well, for a step deck or flat bed, it's light, you know. For Hotshot, it's not light.
Yeah.
So there's so much factors that come into play, tarping, you know, and like stuff like that. So
tarping, yeah. Yeah, which is really, like I saw a guy posted, it was his first tarping job, and he, you know, it was a mess, and then over time he really got good at tarping. Is there a lot of different methodology like that? Like, I don't know, chains and straps and heavy equipment, and I mean, I don't know. I guess it gets pretty dynamic. Temperature control for reefers.
Especially if there's like, sorry.
What other types of, okay, so we got dry van, flatbed, reefer, heavy equipment. What other types of freight transporters are there that you would think are major categories?
There's RGN, Conestoga, Low Boys, which is kind of like RGN in a way. What else?
Uh-oh. I got it. Okay. Brendan Powell says 50 cents a mile. I'm looking at $1.20. Brendan, I think you're looking at $1.20 for, not per car. You're not looking at $1.20 unless, are you doing enclosed? And enclosed is different than open transport. But on that note, Roman, what could you give? Can you give like at least a range of what a dry van is trying to make? I mean, just to break even plus 20% margin. I don't know. What's a reasonable range? Can you give one
for a dry van?
Yeah.
Well,
New York.
I feel like a dollar a mile is cutting even.
Okay.
That's like nobody's making money. This is just like you're getting there, and it goes from $2 a mile, you know, to $3 a mile on a dry van. But I've been hearing that it's a little lower than that because dry van is probably one of the easiest. I wouldn't say, I'd say reefer and driving is one of the easiest trucking. So it is on the lower side of, if you know, put all of them in the line of all the types of trucks there is, I'll say they're on the lower side of dollar per mile.
Yeah, okay. So that, I mean, you just gave a range, and I did not know that, so, I mean, you helped fill that in. And what about if you're an independent owner-operator, what about your insurance? I mean, it's probably similar to like a 3-car wedge, right?
You're asking about a Hotshot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends. Also, well, it depends on your driving record and depends of your cargo insurance. Because usually, Hotshot cargo insurance is about 100,000, and liability is 1 million. So it just depends. I would say about maybe in a range of $2,000 to $3,000 a year for insurance.
That's not bad, right?
Yeah,
Because you don't.
And that's for a good record driver, you know.
Okay, but still, I mean that you don't. It does. The rate doesn't seem to reflect the high risk of transporting maybe brand new vehicles.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, some vehicles, if you're transporting brand new vehicles, they require like 200,000 cargo insurance. So that already will go up, you know, about probably a few $100s.
Okay, all right. Well, that's pretty good information. So, what other areas? I mean, we talked about, different types of freight transport, and you gave a recommendation of a 36-foot trailer. Are there other fundamentals that we didn't talk about that you would want to make sure that somebody left with knowing about, if they're thinking about getting into hot shotting? I mean, like, do you recommend a CDL?
Obviously CDL is a lot better, and for meaning like if you want to get out of hot shotting and you want to go to something else, you'll have a CDL, you know. But I do have a truck right now in our fleet. The CDL driver, he could scale 23,000 pounds. That's the load. The loaded, meaning 23,000 pounds of load going on his trailer. So I think it's about 40,000.
Okay.
Gross. So
okay.
He makes, by the time you take out the tires, how much oil he eats, how much diesel, all that, he comes out to making about the same as one of my guys that's non-CDL, you know?
Interesting.
Only 10,500 pounds, 36-foot trailer. I mean, obviously he's making a little less. The non-CDL is making a little less, but it's not a huge difference where you're just like, wow, I need a CDL now, So, but that's what I experienced on the West Coast. Okay. I know East Coast is a little different.
Right.
But on the West Coast, that's what I experienced over the years, where non-CDL is making pretty close to a CDL truck.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I mean, yeah, and when you compare the coasts, I mean, East Coast is really a lot different than West Coast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's a big consideration right there. But, I mean, wherever you live, would you say you can make a living wherever you live? I mean, wouldn't you say, it seems like there's another, like every day somebody else wants to get into transport. And one could argue that there's plenty of work out there, assuming you properly strategize and put your capital in the right places, make the right decisions, maybe a little bit of luck, but you could, give it a go.
Yeah, and it also depends what company you work for also. Because if the company has bad scores, he won't be able to book a lot of the load, So, like, if even an owner-op, it doesn't matter owner-op or driver,
So
it depends on that, too.
Would you recommend, I know like we're talking, Mark was talking about starting off with a dry van company. Would you recommend that too? Or what about just getting personal training from somebody? I mean, what's a good way to get into it?
Well, the thing is, we have a few brand new guys that have never been in trucking ever in their life. They don't know what trucking is. And they got into a hotshot truck, and they seem to be working out quite fine. It just depends how hard you want to work. Obviously, hotshotting requires a little more work than, let's say, a refrigerated or a dry van. But if you're, let's say, if you're maybe a younger guy and you're okay with getting out there, tarping, chaining, strapping, then it honestly doesn't matter.
Well, and I think the previous experience, if you've worked, I don't know, if you've got a lot of mechanical experience, or it seems like oil fields are a good training ground for some.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
I've heard that too.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, I mean, that kind of hard, mechanical, long days can be a good training ground for. In fact, you hear a lot of military folks getting into trucking. That seems pretty common.
They operate heavy equipment on the bases and stuff. So.
Yeah, and I think I hear military a lot. So, well, cool. Listen, man, you've given me a lot of your time, and I really appreciate it. I just want to say one more time that if anybody wants to learn more about Roman and Dispatch Garage, you can go to YouTube, type in Dispatch Garage. He talked about his email address is dispatchislife@gmail.com. You're on other social media, right? You're on Facebook, Dispatch Garage?
Facebook and Instagram at Dispatch Garage.
Cool. All right, cool. And you've kind of ratcheted up the videos you're putting out, and you've got, when's your next video coming out? In a few days?
Yeah, I think in a few days here. I'm still shooting those videos, the one where you talk with the brokers and go back and forth, are hard to shoot.
I know.
Because all the company information and all that, and trying to organize them the same, basically, if I talk to the broker, I mean, the next video should be me talking to the broker again when I talk to him in a few minutes. You know what I mean?
Dude,
I don't want to have it jumping back and forth. So
one of my earliest videos was me doing dispatching, and it does really well. But yeah, I mean, that's all I did that day is work on that driver and shoot and edit. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. So especially I'm doing it on an iPad. I don't have time to do it during work, so I do it at home on my iPad. So it's tough.
I know, man. It is. It's interesting, and in fact, sometimes making the videos, it doesn't have its own downside, like its own. Like I'm in the middle of a video right now. It seems like I'm always in the middle of a video, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for this to be done. That's why I like doing the live show. The live. Do you do live? Do you go live?
No, I do not. I have not yet. Maybe if I have more audience, I will. I think, I'm going live and people asking questions will help people a lot more because they're asking the question and they're getting answered right away,
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Maybe in the future I will.
It's its own animal, and that's why, man, I really appreciate you coming on my show, and the cross-pollination and promotion. I mean, let's keep in touch, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, cool, man. You have a good night. Thanks so much.
Hey, you too.
All right, take care. Bye. Awesome. Okay, we're going to just keep going. But we're looking at we're going to have a 2-hour show here. So, you guys, thanks for sticking around. We got one more guest, and we're going to jump right in. We're going to call, who do we have here? We have Gary at Garth Logistics. Let's do this thing. It's a crazy show, man. You got to have stamina to stick around this show. You got to either be stuck in your truck or I don't know.
Hey, Jay.
Hey, what's up, Gary?
Man, I'm just sitting here waiting on your call.
Well, I appreciate. I
About to go to sleep.
I know, man. I wasn't kidding about that 2 hour. I was like, I talked to you over 2 hours ago. I'm like, well, it's gonna be a couple hours.
Yeah. Right.
Oh man, and I'm telling you, I mean,
yeah, pretty good show, man.
Yeah. Are you watching? Have you been watching it?
Yeah, I've been watching.
All right, man. Thank you. So, I mean, even though I'm putting you to sleep, it's still somewhat engaging. Right now, there's me and you and 13 other people just all about to fall asleep. So.
Oh yeah, we got a big crowd.
Oh yeah. Well, and I appreciate it, and I've got a lot of good core members now. It kind of changes from week to week, but I see a lot of the same folks, and I'm happy that, if you're still here or if you're watching on demand, I mean, I appreciate you sticking around because Gary What is Garth Logistics? What's going on with you?
Well, I'm a brokerage company, auto transport broker is what I am. Haven't been doing it very long. I've been brokering for a little over a year now, and I drove for 30 years and got hurt on the job and had to get out of it. And, man, I love the transportation industry, you know, and been in it, you know, my whole life just about. And you know, I figured I just needed to stay with that, you know.
Yeah.
So here I am. So.
Yeah. So, and I was reading on your site. So before you were driving, were you brokering before you drove?
No.
No. Okay. So you were a driver for 30 years, and then you got into brokering because you needed to do more of an office job.
Right.
Okay. And you know what? I mean, I know I've talked to folks in similar situations. Actually, you hear about that in law enforcement, right? If you're,
yeah, sure.
You're out in the field and you need to go back and work in the office. So,
right.
Okay, so
it's two different worlds, brother.
It is.
It really is.
But your
30
years out there makes you probably the most conscientious broker. Right, I mean, not the number one, you don't get an award, but I mean, really, right? I mean, you feel there's a difference in what you're thinking and saying because you've been there.
It's like your previous caller said. You know, he said, you know, these brokers will call them and they'll just, you know, well, it's about 30 pounds, you know, it's about 12 foot long, then it gets over there and it's 19 foot long. You know, but you know, with my stuff, you know, I mean, you know what you get, because I'm going to put it on there. When you pull that load up and you see it on that load board, you're going to know what you're getting. You're going to know how long it is, how much it weighs, and what it is.
Right.
And if there's going to be any spare parts in it or what, you know, you're going to know.
And I'm with you. I mean, I talk about how I got to wear a detective's hat. I thought just for kicks, I'm just going to go ahead and do a Central Dispatch search. And let's see if we can find some loads that, you know, maybe otherwise. How about double-listed loads? There we go. What's your take on double-listed?
Well, let me tell you this. Part of my terms and conditions, when my customers book my load, or you know, when they book the load there, they read my terms and conditions, and line 6, it spells out, you know that I'm the only broker that they're going to be working with. Okay, I mean it's in different terms, but just plain English, you know, if you're caught, you're working with another broker while you're working with me, you know, you're going to lose your deposit. You know?
Right.
And you know, I don't play them games, Jay.
I like that. You're gonna lose your deposit.
I mean, you know, I had a customer here a while back, you know, and we disagreed big time on it, you know, but you know, he had the same car listed on Central 3 or 4 different times. You know, I said, look, I can't work like that. You know.
No, that's. And why was it?
I mean, you got 3 or 4 different prices on there. I mean, which one do you think that carrier's going to take? He's going to take the highest one.
And,
you know,
and
I'm not going to sit here and play games with these guys.
In your opinion, if you could, is there a way to share what you think he was thinking? Like, at this moment, instead of just talking trash, what I'm trying to get to is there's going to be a customer out there one day that actually watches some of this and hears you say, don't do X, which is what? Thinking that having 4 brokers working against each other is somehow going to get you the free pizza. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, what good is it doing him? I mean, he's competing against himself.
Right, because the customer,
I mean, he really is, and it's not doing him any good.
Because the customer,
and the thing is, see, they don't. I mean, I work with a great bunch of guys. I mean, I got a niche group that I work with. Okay, well, you know, I shift their old vehicles up and down the highway all the time. You know, work with the same guys. They're a great bunch of guys, but you know, I've sat down and explained to a lot of them how it works. You know, but the potential customers I get, you know, when they call me, they think they're talking to a carrier. You know, because, I mean, it states on my website that I'm a broker. It's on my Facebook page. I'm a broker, you know, but they don't know the difference between a broker, a carrier, shipper, a dispatcher. I mean, you go talk in terms like that, they don't know.
Well,
they don't understand what it is.
And you know what's funny?
You know?
I still have people tell me I'm a broker, and these are people inside the industry.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not a broker.
I mean, I've tried to.
There's a clear difference.
Right. Yeah, and I try to, you know, explain it to them, you know, how it works, because, you know, sooner or later, you know, they're going to say, well, I thought you was the driver.
Right.
So I just bring it up to start with. You know, now look, I'm not a carrier. I'm going to find you a carrier. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
You know.
And do you think that in your marketing, right, you don't, I mean, I guess here you are standing by a truck, so maybe a customer could think, well, okay, there he is with his truck. It's interesting.
Well, that picture was taken back in the early 90s.
Right. Well, and I guess I think what's happened is, because I think we talked about this. If you're a person and you type in ship my car, you know, and you get 154 million results, and you start clicking on these, and they all look the same. You basically see, let's just click on one. You see there's going to be a truck and fields to put information, right? Look at that. Right? And I mean, and you know, some of the pictures that you see used, you're going to see the same pictures on like 100 websites.
Right.
So you put in your information, and after a while you assume a broker has a truck, really has everything. They have guarantees, they have hot pizza in the passenger seat when the car gets there, right?
Right.
It's the pizza delivery that's really my favorite way of explaining how far we've run amok of what reality is.
Right.
I mean, just today, I'm booking loads, and I'm trying to preach reality. I feel like I'm a reality preacher, and what I'm preaching about is the driver's not going to be there by 4 o'clock. I don't want to guarantee that. Why would you go home at 4 o'clock from your business?
Right.
If you're shipping a car, why would you even do that? That's the day you're going to get your hair done? Don't do that. Well, yeah, let's see here. I've got to, you know, I'm gonna watch some Netflix and ship a car and get my hair done. No, no. Do your hair tomorrow, along with your nails and your spray tan. You got all day. And actually, I would say do your hair in 2 days, because what if there's, you know, your family member gets in a road rage problem and now causes a giant traffic accident.
Yep.
So, I mean, you must be a reality preacher, I'm guessing.
A reality what?
A reality preacher. I'm wondering if maybe I should buy realitypreacher.com.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think it's this site can't be reached.
I'm a realist, all right.
Yeah, you have to be a realist. I mean, and that's the thing, is that I think that in transport, whether it's freight or cars, I think one thing we all have in common is paying for fuel and dealing with reality.
Right.
So, and as a broker, you know, one of your biggest jobs is to, this sounds like the hard part, is you want to get their business, but I think you say you've got some of your repeat customers, you got a customer base, because if you're in the top 100 brokerages in the US, You want to get the customer, but you also want to keep the customer realistic. That's got to be tough.
Right. Yeah.
How do you do that?
I'll tell you how you do it. You do it with transparency.
Transparency. Keep going.
Transparency.
You've got my interest. Okay.
No, I mean, it's just like I said before. If when they call, they think they're calling a carrier. I'll let them know right up front. No, I'm not a carrier. I'm a broker. I'll make a little bit off of this. That's why I'm doing it. I said the difference in you doing it and me doing it, I'm going to make sure that carrier has your car insured.
Right.
I'm going to make sure he has a good safety record. I said, when you call him, you're not going to do that because you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do your due diligence on these carriers. You have to do it.
And it's just like it's an agent. If you've got a corporation, having a tax account is a tax accountant, a tax professional is probably worth the money. If you're gonna make a court appearance and it's a pretty big deal, you might want to hire a lawyer.
I don't have an accountant. I do my own.
Well,
I got
well, there you go.
I'm not big time like you and the dispatch garage there. I mean, y'all got 3 or 4 computer screens. I have enough problems with this one.
Let me tell you. You called me big time. You just made my night. All right. I'm gonna go out and get some caviar and hire a driver.
Yeah.
Because I'm big time. Oh man, that's wonderful. Meanwhile, I've got people in the chat that are like, just get on with it, big time. So yeah, there you go. So let me ask you this. In the my first guest was Mark, and we were talking about freight. My second guest was Roman. We talked about freight and cars. And now here we are. We're back to talking about cars.
Yeah.
Do you know people that are thinking of being drivers, right? You must meet people at some point that are like, hey, I really want to get into transport.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, guy approached me the other day. We were talking. I got the gas pump or something. And we were talking, and he was having trouble with his pickup was missing. So I went over and I looked at it, and we got to talking. I told him what I did and everything, and he said he was thinking about getting into it. And I just give him a few pointers, to stuff to watch out for mainly. But I tell you, them you guys get out there, man, and they got to pay their dues, but some of these companies will take advantage of those dues too,
Well, and what I think of, unfortunately, I start thinking about, I think it's going to be this picture here. Okay? If you do not, you're going to see this come up on your screen in a second. If you do not know what you're doing, it's very easy to tip the trailer.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Actually, it sounds like it's way easier. I mean, we're seeing these images all the time. I mean, you just you have a 3-car going around a corner in Los Angeles, and suddenly they're tipping over.
Right.
That's freaky. I mean, that's the amount of risk is so high. In fact, that's why I wanted to say this is that. Number one, I've talked to another factoring company that they say they don't factor car haulers. Car haulers not only have too much risk.
Yeah, well, see, I don't factor, so I don't worry about that.
I know, I understand, but not only do car haulers have too much risk, but also their payment styles vary. Where in freight, I guess the payment doesn't vary as much. You don't have COD and 2-day quick pay and ComCheck and 30-day. It just seems like it's just a lot of billing, and you just hand it over to your
Right.
factoring company, and just, you know, you factor everything like you would do anything else in a standardized way.
Right.
I also want to say this: are you are you aware that I have this on my list of things to mention? That, do you know what a Certus is? Have you ever heard of a Certus?
A Certus?
A Certus. I'm just gonna go there right now. Did you guys know? This is the first time I'm mentioning it. Did you guys know that Metrogistics is now a Certus? Did you guys know that? I don't know. I'm not sure what that means, but are you familiar with Metrogistics? Do you know Metrogistics?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you know that Metrogistics is now a different company name? According to their website. According to their website, I mean, I went to Metrogistics.com and it says Metrogistics is now a Certus.
A Certus. That's what you were saying. I couldn't understand what you were saying.
I know. Well, that was part of the fun.
Yeah, no, I didn't know this either.
Yep.
It just happened.
Brand new. I mean, brand new news. This just happened in the past.
Yeah, because I was just on their site the other day.
Exactly. This just. In fact, if you go to metroloads.com, it is still metroloads.com. Metroloads.com.
Well, do you think they may be fixing to revolutionize the...
Well, I'm glad you said it that way, because I'm going to say, yeah, I think that Metrogistics has always been in the making of trying to make a major play to compete at a higher level. You've got Central Dispatch, you've got One Dispatch, you've got Cars Arrive Network, and I think Metrogistics is trying to enter into that larger... It's not just load boards and technology. I mean, we're talking end-to-end solutions. We're talking OEM to the end of the life cycle. Now, I don't know which auctions they're going to get into, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try to. So that's just speculation. Right. And you've also got, which is interesting, Ship.Cars is recently pushing their load board and initiative. Are you familiar with Ship.Cars?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, which I don't want to spread any rumors, but I think I think Ship.Cars came from a big brokerage. So, and I'm in favor of more load boards. But as we know, there's really one big load board, right? I mean, it's what we always think of. So speaking of, Brendan wants me to talk about, okay. Brendan says, who's Metrogistics? Oh, he's kidding. Oh, no, Brendan, don't even ask that question. What's the... Oh, so double listed. All right, so I just want to talk about double listed loads for a second, because I'm so glad you said what you said. We're on the same page. From opposite ends, we're on the same page, which means we both know what we're talking about, and that is that a double listed load, yes, you could argue that a double listed load means there's a bidding war, and then the price will keep going up, and then the trucker gets the highest price and has a party. Well, I've tried to be that guy, and I go to the highest price, and guess what I got? I got nothing.
Right.
Because the lower guy already dispatched it, and this guy up here, hey, he's got nothing.
Right.
You don't have nothing. You got a $1,000 90 cent a mile nothing. That's what you got.
That comes from not clearing the board.
And so what I've done, because I've had the $1,000 90 cent a mile nothing, and I was in such a panic once I found out it was double listed, I booked them all.
Okay.
I got the dispatch for, it was like a Camaro. I got the dispatch for the Camaro from all three brokers. Because by golly, we're going to get that car. And I know it was only one car. And I got all 3 central dispatch dispatches. Believe me, it was hilarious when I talked to the customer. I'm like, well, they're like, well, who are you with? I'm like, well, pick a card. Because I got them all. I'm with all of them. It's pretty funny.
Well, that's using your head, man.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's like, well, what are you going to pay? I don't know. Are you going to list it again? So it is pretty crazy. Yeah, book them all. It's actually pretty interesting. It's kind of like, it's like buying up all the stocks. You just got them all.
Right.
So, anyways, yeah, Acme got it right. Ship your car, ship.cars. At some point, I'd like to have like a little bingo game going on where, there's like a question and you could get, auto transport bingo. Ooh, I wonder if that's available. Auto transport bingo. That's what I should have called the channel, Auto Transport Bingo. This is a crazy show. So, it really shows. But, I know I need to wrap it up soon. I'm almost at my 2-hour mark. So, is there any other, like, I like to ask, this is actually a life skill. Do you do this, Gary? You mix, job, recommendation, advice with, like, life skills, right?
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Some things you say to your customers are things you would say to kids, right? Like, here's a life skill.
Well, it's not because I think they're kids. It's to help them understand better.
Agreed. And that's exactly what I'm saying too. No, not.
Yeah,
that's the funny thing about education. That's why I stress there are no stupid questions. Even though it may seem stupid and one of us might laugh, there really are no stupid questions. And there are so many great life skills to attain. And, I mean, in auto transport, and that's why I talk about, preaching reality, because I think it's just really helpful. If you're going to ship a car, just know the reality. Know how complicated it is. Know how difficult it is to estimate the timing. And don't assume that calling 4 brokers is going to get your car moved faster. Because that's not really how it works.
It don't work that way, does it?
No, it really.
I mean, we're and that's something else. They don't know that we're all on the same load boards.
No.
Well, we use the same carriers.
Yeah, we do, exactly. Well, it's funny. Wouldn't that be crazy if when you Google, that would be amazing. If when you Google, like, ship a car, there was this page that came up, warning, we all use the same load board, and we all have the same carrier options.
Right.
That'd be amazing. So if I ever get the #1 spot on Google, I think that's what I'm going to put. Auto Transport Intel wants to warn you that you are not smarter than this system. Just like you are not smarter than the guy next to you on the interstate. Just keep driving.
Right.
Because you're going to flip your car.
When I started this, when I started this little venture here,
yeah,
it is an adventure.
It is an adventure, yes, sir.
I didn't charge a deposit.
Right.
But then I found myself working all day long and not making a dime.
Yeah.
Because they're using other brokers while they're using me. They got these things posted 4 or 5 different times on the load boards, and I just got tired of it, and I said, okay, look, I rewrote my terms, and it is what it is.
Well, it's a really interesting point, and because time is money, and that's also got to be hard to, you're saying, right, I've given you the orientation. Really, we're not going much further. Blue pill or red pill, you're either doing the deposit or you're just going to keep
right.
searching through Google. And
Right.
I guess to reach that moment, you have to connect with the customer in some way.
Right.
And that's what's interesting. That how do you teach that? That's a hard thing to teach.
Yeah.
I guess you learned it out on
Well,
the
you
road.
know, I mean, I think me and my customers, we talk about the darn cars more than we do anything else.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that
So,
because you just brought
I
it all
mean,
home.
so we got a camaraderie, okay?
Yes.
And that's the customer that I like to work with, somebody that I have something in common with. It puts me on the same level with them. And if you can get on the same level with a potential customer, you're going to get that customer.
Yes. That's
You know?
man, I totally agree, and that's where, we talk about. I think one of the helpful reality perspectives is to look at it from their point of view. This car is a really, really big deal,
Right. Yeah.
and if you can view it from that perspective, and get on that level in a real way, I think that's how you get the business.
Right.
Man. And that's why I was really happy to find out that when you said you'd come on the show. I mean, I think that this is a fair statement. Most brokers have not been a driver for that many years and know it from that
No.
level. Yeah. No.
Yeah, and the thing is, see, I've dealt with brokers my entire career. I know how they think.
Right. And we don't.
And I tell you, there's some good brokers out there. I have worked with some fantastic brokers.
Me too.
But I tell you what, buddy, I have worked with some bad ones too.
And I know I'm gonna get a thumbs down from a broker who is just convinced this is just hateful. This is terrible talk, but it's true. Just like I know there's some crappy dispatchers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I mean, there
I've worked
are.
with some of those too.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah. So, yeah. So I mean, there's people in every line of work that could probably use a little bit of sharpening. But
Right. Yeah.
is there any other area where? And Brandon says New York to Seattle, Washington today. A lady was quoted 900. New York to Seattle, Washington, 900. Wow.
Yeah, that's a little low there.
That's
ain't it?
pretty terrible. That is, man. That won't get you out of Ohio. Yeah, that's new. Yeah, actually,
Yeah, but see, working with these individuals like I do, I mean, it's hard to get a buck out of them.
well, and that's where
You
I think that in transport, when you think of, I mean, I do all my shopping on Amazon. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I do too.
Right? We all do.
I don't go to Walmart.
No, well, I go to Walmart every week for some things.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. But between Walmart and Amazon, that's, I mean, probably 95% of my shopping. So when I look at auto transport and I can't just click a button and my car is delivered, and I think that's what's happened. A lot of people think, it's Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers Transport. Mario Brothers is not even that's ridiculous. But so
Well, the freight hauling technology has run off and left the auto transport.
Oh, I know.
As far as technology goes.
Yeah, it is. Isn't that interesting? That auto transport is still in many ways just maybe in the 70s. Maybe we're in the 1970s.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Central was founded in 90 something, wasn't it? 99.
And which is I think that's the last time they updated.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, they
Oh, man.
Well,
Well, there comes the thumbs down. Man, I just got another thumbs down. I'm sure of it. I can't believe you said that.
I don't see any thumbs down on you, brother.
Well, I tell you what, man, you know what? I appreciate all the likes I get. It really helps me.
Well, I mean, it don't matter if you get a thumbs down anyway. It pays the same, don't it?
Yeah, wow. Thanks for making me feel better.
Hey, I'm a realist, man.
Exactly. Well,
Hey, here you go.
You know what's really interesting? Our Auto Loads just updated their website in the past couple weeks. There's something going on. I don't know what I said something was going to happen, and it's not because I said it, but there is something going on.
I tell you what, buddy, social media it spreads the word quick.
I know it is. It's kind of cool. In fact, that's why I'm a little bit excited that I'm here. I'm here right now doing this live show, talking about all this stuff, and it's exciting because I think we're on the verge of something new, and I think it's because of ELD. I think ELD is kind of pushing us over the next hump. That's what it seems like, but I don't know. I don't know. So anyways, it's pretty fascinating. So before I let you go, is there anything else you would like to add to either advice to a new customer or a new transporter or even a new broker? I talked to a new broker just the other week about, how his experiences are going. Do you have any, I don't know, is there anything we didn't talk about that you were thinking about talking about?
They don't understand the expenses that the driver has.
Right.
Okay. I mean, this guy. The average cost of fuel from Washington over to New York is $3.61 a gallon. I mean, that's 3,000 miles, brother.
Wow, yeah.
That's 6 miles at a gallon. That's $1,800 just for fuel.
Great call.
And I quoted a guy the other day, $1,650 for that trip for one car. And I don't guess he wanted it. He offered $1,350, and I said no. And I showed him the average fuel cost. And, I said, it's the way that driver is looking at it. It's costing him $150 to haul your car to you over there. Right?
Yeah.
Am I looking at that right?
Well, I think that's the thing is that it's interesting. I like what you said, because that's another thing about talking about the expense of transport. I mean, that's a really good point. And we all know what fuel is. It's not like you're talking about space alien technology. It's fuel.
Right.
And we all know what the sign looks like. We all know, although we don't all look at the diesel price, but yeah, I mean, you're talking about a hard fact, but he's probably thinking, yeah, but that car carrier is carrying 9 cars. And I think what's happened in his mind, he's thinking.
Well, I brought that point up to him too. Because I knew he was going to go there. I said, he's offsetting it by hauling other cars. I said, but he also has his maintenance. He has his food. He has to live out there on the road. He has his breakdowns. His maintenance. He has all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I've been there and done it, and I'm not going to lowball a driver. If I can't get a decent price for him, I'm not going to fool with it.
And that's, what I think that's the thing is that's one of the reasons we're here talking about this stuff is I appreciate that you do that, and I know drivers appreciate that you do that.
Yeah.
And we wish everybody would kind of do that. instead of going the other direction and just making all these crazy promises.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I was going to say is, even if the 9 car can offset the fuel cost of 1 car, he probably doesn't have 9 cars on a rope from Seattle to New York.
Right, right. Yeah, that's another good point. You know, I mean, you might have a 3-car wedge there, you know. And,
right.
I mean, if you got 9 cars, yeah, you could probably, if you couldn't find another car, you could probably pick one up for $500. It's better than nothing. At least you'll have a full load coming across, and that's the way a lot of them think.
And you know what's interesting?
Well, we just wait for somebody who wants to go home, or something like that.
Well, you know what's interesting is there used to be a company that I think specialized in catering to this mindset. And I believe, in my opinion, that company was Dependable Auto Shippers. Because
you're right.
And can you hire Dependable Auto Shippers today? No, you can't. At least not that company. My point is that in trying to cater to the extreme demands and expectations of a customer without setting realistic boundaries, you end up in a situation where you're setting up a system that is set up to fail.
Right.
And so, rather than follow that to the end of its life, you have to educate people.
Right.
And that can be, how long does it take to educate the average person? 30 minutes? 20 minutes?
Depends on how fast you talk and how well they understand, I guess.
We need to have like a chess clock. Hit it and go. Yeah. I wonder how long it is. I'll bet it's longer than a half hour. It can take me a half hour if as a dispatcher, if I'm talking to a resident that is tapping their foot, it can take me a half hour just to make them more angry.
Right. Yeah, they can get angry.
Man.
They really can.
They get really mad.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh my gosh.
I'm just a middleman here, and if a carrier is late or he can't pick up the load, I call my customers every day, if I can't get a hold of them, I'll leave them a voicemail or whatever. But there's one or two that we don't talk very much, but anyway,
it's good. Here
it's tough sometimes.
We got a great ending comment. Silver Mint says customers don't like the part that the carrier needs to make a profit.
Right.
Right. Like it's a civil service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to expand and get into freight and all this stuff, I don't think I'd make it.
Yeah.
I think this is the only way I can do it is dealing with these individuals like this, and the guys I deal with, they pay a decent dollar, but they want their vehicles taken care of too. You know?
It's interesting. I'm so glad you said this. I think part of the success, and I put it in my 20 steps to car hauling, is to have a specialized niche. And in some industries,
right.
you'll say a boutique, right? I think that this is the kind of industry, whereas if you try to create a mass solution, you are headed to a problem.
Yeah.
You need to carve out your niche and just take care of that group.
There you go.
And that's honestly, I do not.
It's a lot easier too.
It's been suggested to me that I start like a dispatch company. No, I do not want to do that. I mean, it'd be just like trying to satisfy 100 dealerships. I mean, that you will never sleep again. So, But you might get rich. You might get that yacht. You might get that golden umbrella stand. Okay, man. Listen, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I really had a great time talking to you.
Sir.
I knew it would be a great time, and I really appreciate your time. And if people want to get a hold of you, you got a phone number up here. You got garthologistics.com. And how about an email address? Can someone email you?
Yeah, it's Gary, my name, at garthologistics.com.
Okay, and Gary has 2 R's, right?
That's correct.
Gary at garthologistics.
Garry.
Garry at garthologistics.com.
That's correct.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, listen, Gary, I'm gonna say goodnight to you. I really want to thank you for joining the show, and I think that I'm seeing in the chat that we had some good points that were talked about, and let's keep in touch, okay?
Okay, we'll do it, Jay.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks a lot, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so we are, we're at about a Kool-Aid break here. Speaking of, on the ELD Kool-Aid, I need to get some ELD Kool-Aid cups, and I do want to mention, I've had it running in the, I've had it running down there in the scroll. If you, let's go ahead and move this. If you, oh, what? Okay, that's weird. I didn't know it did that. Okay, so if you like the t-shirt, I'm wearing, okay, you see the t-shirt? Okay, so if you like this t-shirt, and then I got the hat too, but I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the hat. I got the hat because I like to wear hats. But I guess I'm gonna start making more t-shirts. If you're interested in a t-shirt, send me an email. I mean, I only have the one right now. I got to figure out how I'm gonna do that. And so if you're interested in a shirt, send me an email. And I mean, I got to charge for them right now, and they're expensive because I don't have volume. Anyways, just let me know if you would be interested, and I don't know. Anyways, I just wanted to say that. So I am going to do more t-shirts. I do want to do, at some point, an ELD Kool-Aid cup, or maybe, I don't know, something like that. So, you know, always have the green ELD Kool-Aid because it's super safe, it's super Kool-Aid, and anyways, and that stuff helps the show. Listen, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me again tonight. I enjoy the show. I hope that I lived up to the idea of talking about cars versus freight. Apples and oranges, they are 2 different sister types of transport. You guys already know that. But I don't have all the information. I know cars really well. I don't have all the information about freight. But I think it's time to start expanding and looking beyond just the car hauling boundary. And so we'll do more of that. But next week we're going to talk more about cost per mile. That should be pretty cool. We already talked about on the last show in Know Your Numbers, we were talking about how you calculate, you know, an itemized list of your expenses, and you can look at that monthly expenses. But what we didn't do is take it to the next step of, and thank you, George, for pointing this out, of calculating your mileage throughout that month, including deadhead miles, and then dividing your expenses by your mileage to know your break even per mile. So when you're looking at, and the whole point of this, you're looking at a car that pays 50 or 60 cents a mile, well, you need to know, listen, my break even is 43 cents a mile, and that way you can really measure your margin, and that way you can really beat up your dispatcher. Okay. All right, well, listen, guys, I really want to thank you. I will see you next Tuesday. I do love doing this show. And Garth Logistics moved his thumbs down to a thumbs up. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it. I want to thank my guests, all 3. Mark from Trucking Answers, Roman from Dispatch Garage, and Gary from Garth Logistics. And if you're still with me, man, thank you for sticking around. It's a long show, but I think at this point it's part of the rite of passage. You have to pay your dues and prove yourself. So I'm starting up the car hauler. I'll see you guys next week, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. And thank you for tuning in. And I appreciate it. And I'm Jay. I'm the car hauling dispatcher. And I hope you like and comment. You take care.